Hello, and welcome to the Unexpected Podcast. This is episode number 1 with your host, Carter Nachtrab, and your co-host,
I'm Frank Busalacchi.
Frank Busalacchi in the house.
What?
So today we're just going to basically explain who we are, what we do, and what we expect with the future of the podcast. So, with that being said, Frank, tell us why you want to be doing a podcast.
Well, Carter, I don't have much else going on.
Well, you sound like a pretty busy man.
I'm always busy. I don't know why I want to do a podcast. I guess, something else to add to the resume.
Yeah, no problem with that. Do you have any goals with trying to bring this into the future or help you grow your social media accounts?
I mean, hey, whatever works for me.
Sweet. So, I wanted to start this podcast because I believe I have a message to get out to the world and that we can actually do something great to help impact many lives, and we want to help people grow and improve on a daily basis. So we want to be able to eventually bring people from opposing arguments and opposing sides of different beliefs, and we can have them debate, and hopefully someday it can help you guys decide whether or not you want to continue or what you think certain topics will affect you in the future.
I like that answer better.
Said, what's that?
So I like his answer better. I'm going to steal that one.
You can have it. I'll sell it to you.
All right, well, I'll feed 4 pennies into something I can't say on camera.
So we believe that we're going to try this thing. We're going to do 10 episodes. We're doing for a trial run to see where we want to take this podcast in the future. Maybe we even will change the name of it someday. But for now, we're going to see what we can do and where we can take it. So Frank, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, in the next 5 to 10 years, I'm hoping to own my own production company. I'm looking to make advertisements, help small local businesses, hopefully one day work up and make my own feature film.
Sweet. So what kind of films do you want to get into?
Oof. That's a toughie. So I like a lot of like psychological thrillers and like the horror genre as like kind of like a whole. I love those movies that just sort of like F with your brain, you know? One of the ones that I watched recently was called, I think it was Escape House or Escape Room or something like that. And the entire movie, it was just like you were trying to figure out what was going on. You were on the edge of your seat trying to figure out what was going on. So I would love to make stuff like that. You know, I would love to make movies that make people question their own reality. Stuff like, you know...
Was that Escape Room? Was that the one where people like were playing a game?
No. They have similar names. I could be mixing up the names, so don't quote me on it. I know that one I think is called like The Escape Room, where they were playing a game. This one was about a father and daughter who got a flat tire on a road trip in a small town, and they asked a waitress what there was to do in town. And she told them about this escape house style thing where it's like multiple rooms. You have to solve cryptic codes and stuff like that. You know, like an escape room to get out of, but it was an entire house. And, I don't want to spoil anything if you guys end up watching it, but long story short, it didn't quite add up. Things were more mysterious than meets the eye.
Okay. So tell us, don't you have a movie that you're trying to make right now?
I do have an outlined script for a short film that I would like to make. It's called Driven. And without giving too much away from it, it's basically about letting people know the dangers of letting your emotions dictate your actions. So it shows in a very dramatic way how letting your emotions dictate actions could lead you down a very dark path.
So is this going to be a thriller movie, or is this more of a, or so is this more like a documentary of like about how emotions take our, or how our actions dictate our emotions?
So it wouldn't be, it's not a documentary. It's actually more of a psychological thriller style movie. And the main idea behind it is it shows a guy struggling, with depression, anxiety, and all that kind of stuff. And it shows how he lets that kind of overwhelm him without seeking any sort of help whatsoever. And it shows him just kind of spiral from there.
Okay. So, do you have a message you're trying to get out to the world about mental awareness?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of a controversial type of a message, but I'm not really for the whole desensitizing, or not desensitizing, but this I've noticed in my generation and yours, our generation, that a lot of people are overly sensitive and are quick to let however they're feeling dictate their next action instead of thinking things through and rationalizing what the best choice is for the best outcome. They react more on their emotions than they do on facts and logic.
So is it part of that fight or flight response that we have inside of us?
Well, kind of. Flight or flight is one of those things that come up when you're in if someone startles you. That's not something that's not quite how I'm saying, if, for example, I'll use bullying as an example. When I was in high school, there was a lot of, we did a lot of circle talks and stuff like that, and a lot of people were really quick to oh, well, if so-and-so is going to bully me, well, then I'm just going to knock his teeth out. And other people are like, well, I'm going to get really upset and cry about it and stuff like that. And it's okay, well, if someone's bullying you, they're bullying you to get a reaction. They're not bullying you just because it's fun. What's fun about bullying someone is getting that reaction from them. So that's what they do. That's what bullies like to do, is they like to feed on whatever the reaction is. So instead of people just being like, oh, hey, you're fat. Hey, cool, I know. And walking away.
So are you trying to get out a message of what is a better way to react to a situation
I'm trying
like that?
to get people to think with their head instead of their heart. Because people are they're too quick to react to things based on emotion, which that can be good in some situations, but very few. Most of the time you need to take a step back, say from either a frustrating situation, a situation that's making you angry, anything like that, stressful situations. You need to take a step back, take a deep breath, and think about your next steps, because those next steps are going to be critical in completing whatever the end goal is.
So you're saying it's more about the way we react to something that happens to us.
Yeah, kind of. And realizing signs of okay, I'm, for example, depression. There's seasonal depression, there's post-mortem depression and stuff like that for women and stuff like that. It's also about showing that line as to where when do you go get help? At what point do you need to think, wow, this isn't something that's normal. I need to figure out why I'm feeling this way. And instead of just saying, oh, well, everyone feels that way, or, oh, this isn't this and that. There's well, if you look at any of the, school shooter cases, or any almost mass shooter cases, I believe, if you watch the investigation and kind of listen, there were things that led up to that. It wasn't just one day Joe Schmo decided to shoot up a school. There were signs that led up to that people weren't aware of, and that kid probably was aware of, but didn't know what to do with the information that he had going in his own brain. And he did the things that he did based on letting the emotions take control.
So is this film supposed to allow us as an individual notice signs in other people, or to notice signs in ourselves, or a bit of both?
It's actually a bit of both, because in the scene I have my main protagonist, who is he's a man, and then I also have his wife, his co-workers, his friends, and stuff like that. And another thing that this movie will represent and kind of show, of course, now this movie is not going to be like a real life scenario. This is going to be really over dramatized, because, well, if I make it too simple, then it's not going to really get the whole message across. So I'm
Gotta
really
be a bit dramatic.
I'm over dramatizing the events that take place in this short film, and one of the big things is, it's going to have it so people around him can see the signs and are like, hey, so and so isn't himself, so and so isn't okay, maybe we should ask him or talk to him.
Very good, very good. So when do you want to be able to start producing this movie?
I would like to be able to do it by, I would like to start shooting and getting a cast going by this year. By the 2022. By the end of 2022, I would like to have it at least started. And I'm hoping for either 2023 or 2024 to have it actually posted for people to go out and see.
So are you looking for actors and actresses right now? So if anybody is interested to volunteer, would you allow them to contact you?
Absolutely. The only thing is this isn't, a featured production. There's no budget or anything for it, so there's not like, we're not going to be able to pay any actors.
Okay, so if somebody just wants to get out there and see if this can take them anywhere.
Absolutely, yeah. By all means, hit me up. My Instagram.
So where are you located?
I am located in Park Falls, Wisconsin.
Sounds like a big city.
It's huge. We have like a whole we have like 4 gas stations and like 7 banks and 1 fast food restaurant.
Well, you can determine the size of a city by how many quick trips there are.
We have one.
One whole quick trip.
One whole quick trip. That means we're pretty massive.
Sweet.
We're basically the Los Angeles of Wisconsin. I couldn't even
Life
say that
of
with
Northern Wisconsin.
I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of Park Falls viewers on this podcast this time. So if you are from Park Falls or have ever driven through it, please leave a comment down below and like this video.
Let us know what you thought of our little town.
Little town of Park Falls. Big city there. Big city life.
Big city folk here. Yeah, we have like no clubs. We have like 5 million bars though. That is something we do offer. We have a bowling alley, believe it or not. We do. We do have a bowling alley. I don't think it gets used too often, but we do have one.
Sweet. So when are you moving over here to the Twin Cities? Over to Minneapolis and St. Paul.
What's that, by? Yeah, I'm coming. No, I really don't know yet. I would like to start my production company here in northern Wisconsin because it's a small area and less competition. And I'm still
Playing
pretty
the
new
Blue
at the
Ocean
craft.
strategy.
Still pretty new at the craft, so it'd be easier to pretend. You know what I forgot? I forgot to put my little Frank on my live stand.
Do you have a place where small businesses in the area are able to go to get some work done through you?
You mean, do I have like an office building?
Do you have like a website or a social media account for businesses to reach out to?
Well, right now I'm actually currently working on building a website and a Instagram account. right now. Right now, the most of the work I've done just being the fact that I know everybody in this town. So just word of mouth type of thing. Oh, hey, that kid does photography and videography. Oh, hey, yeah, sure, I'll shoot your senior pictures, wedding photos, whatever. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sweet. So have you done quite a bit in your time?
I have done. I wouldn't say quite a bit compared to like professional photographers and whatnot. I've done next to nothing, but I've done a few weddings and I've done some quite a few senior photos and stuff like that. I've shot some commercials for a friend's company.
Must have been a pretty good friend.
He's all right. The friend he introduced me to of his is way better though. He like fights in like MMA and stuff. Yeah, he's like super freaking cool.
Hopefully we can get him on the podcast sometime. Whenever he's not traveling.
Yeah, the jerk and his traveling all the time. Wish I could do that.
So do I.
But no, I have to go to work.
So some of our goals with this podcast is we want to get to 100 subscribers by our 10th episode. So let us know what you think about our name of the Unexpected Podcast. We want to promote positivity, ambitions, personal growth, and goals for you guys as well as for us. I want to be able to build a media company and a marketing company here in the Twin Cities. And hopefully this podcast will help me get my word out, get my messaging out to reach out to you guys. Is there any place that they can go to reach out to you, Frank? What's your Instagram account?
My Instagram account is Busalacchi200 Busalacchi200. I almost gave you my email. My Instagram is Busalacchi200, and that's BUSALACCHI 200. And that's a pretty good place to reach out to me at.
Oh, what's the deal with the number 200?
It was the easiest to type on my keyboard, or not on my keyboard, on my phone, when I made the account. It was like, all right, bam, right there.
So, sweet. So you guys can go ahead and follow me at Nachtrab Carter, I believe it is, for Instagram. And you can follow us there so you can get updates on our podcast and what we want to do in the future. And if we decide to change the name or change the date, that will be in our stories as well. So go give us a follow, and we'll see you next time.
Adios.
Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.